What's going on, guys? B. Scott here, but on today's show, we got your quarterback sit starts heading in to week number 11. Obviously, we're looking ahead. We got the fantasy championships right around the corner, and it's time to look at the quarterback position and week 11. So I'm going to give you your starts, sits, and streams for this week. But first, keep it locked and loaded right here at the first 4 downs. What's going on, guys, and welcome back. As I mentioned in the preview, we're going through your quarterback sit starts for week number 11. We're already 10 weeks past into the season, and it's time. We're getting closer and closer to that championship. So hopefully your team's doing great and you're ready heading into week number 11. So before we get to today's content, don't forget, like the video, subscribe, share, thumb bell, all that good stuff, and then comment. If there's a quarterback I don't mention, because I'm not mentioning all of them, drop in the comment section. I'll be glad to give you my opinions on start sit questions, start this guy over that guy, whatever you want to ask, drop in the comment section. I'll be glad to give you my advice. So let's start at the top, the way I like to do it, rattle off the must starts, and we'll start first off, Patrick Mahomes. Huge bounce back day, 400 yards plus passing, 5 touchdowns against the Las Vegas Raiders. Now he's got the Dallas Cowboys, just huge shootout potential. Dallas Cowboys defense plays good in spurts, but is susceptible to the big play, period. So Patrick Mahomes, smash spot here this week. Then we got Tom Brady facing the New York Giants. Honestly, didn't play horribly. He did throw a couple interceptions, tried to make it back in that game. Washington football team just kept Tom Brady on the bench and really finished that game out strong. But I like him to bounce back this week against New York Giants coming out of a bye. So Tom Brady, smash spot, obviously. Josh Allen playing the Indianapolis Colts, smash spot here. That Indianapolis Colts secondary has really struggled at times. Obviously, they beat the Jacksonville Jaguars handedly, but this is the Buffalo Bills. So Josh Allen, huge spot here. Lamar Jackson, I mean, is there a team in football that leans on any one player more heavily than Lamar Jackson? I don't think so at this point. And so he's been throwing the ball a ton, back-to-back games, over 40 dropbacks. He's got the Chicago Bears, a not very good secondary. So Lamar Jackson, smash spot for me. Dak Prescott at the Kansas City Chiefs, just huge shootout potential in this game. And Dak Prescott played a great game. They really put it on the Atlanta Falcons. So obvious start. Joe Burrow, hoping to bounce back here, coming out of the bye, coming off his worst performance on the season so far. He's had 2+ touchdowns in every game except his last game. And now he's got the Las Vegas Raiders, a get-right game. You saw what Patrick Mahomes just did to him. I think Burrow could have a pretty decent day here, probably 250, 300 yards, and a couple scores. So I like Joe Burrow to start this week. Jalen Hurts. Is there any more consistent quarterback play than Jalen Hurts has been on the season? I mean, I want to say he's had over 10 fantasy points in every single game, and he's just very, very consistent. Got the New Orleans Saints, not necessarily a great spot here, but he is at home. They've been running the football effectively. They've been rounding out that offense as a whole. So Jalen Hurts, I like him as a start. Justin Herbert, playing the Pittsburgh Steelers. You got to continue to weather the storm with Justin Herbert and keep riding the wave. He struggled in 3 of his last 4 games, but he does have the big game potential. Pittsburgh Steelers defense played very well, especially recently. But I would still probably be starting Justin Herbert here at home. Pittsburgh traveling from east to west. Could be a tough spot here. So I like Justin Herbert this week. You got to be starting him. Kyler Murray, if he's healthy, playing the Seattle Seahawks, you probably got to be starting him here. Albeit, how mobile can he be? Seattle's defense has been playing better as of late. So that's kind of tough for Kyler Murray, but Kyler Murray's upside is tremendous. In my opinion, if I were the Arizona Cardinals, I'd potentially be sitting him down. I get it. They're still trying to stay in that hunt coming off a bad loss, but they have a winning record and continue to play well. If they sit Kyler this week, they got a bye next week. That gives them that extra 2 weeks of rest. So that's personally what I would do. But if Kyler's out there, you probably got to fire him here. And then Aaron Rodgers, he's at the Minnesota Vikings. Should be a bounce back spot. You know, there was talks that he was really, lackluster in his performance. COVID kind of played a little factor in his endurance. That's according to the reports. And I could see him bounce back here against the Minnesota defense that's been up and down at times. But honestly, I still don't believe in that secondary. So Aaron Rodgers, I like him as a start this week. Russell Wilson and Kirk Cousins, these are a couple guys I'm on the fence with. Russell Wilson did not look good against the Green Bay Packers. And now he's got to play the Arizona Cardinals defense. I don't necessarily love the matchup. I get it if you're going to start Russell Wilson. But in my opinion, I'm just on the fence with him. I can't tell you to sit him, but it's a tough spot. And then Kirk Cousins as well. The Green Bay Packers defense actually has really, really played very well this year. So I don't love the matchup. And Kirk Cousins, especially recently, has really struggled and been up and down. So I'm not telling you to sit him, but maybe you start him if you have to. I understand. So let's talk about some quarterbacks that I like as sits this week. For me, first off, Matt Ryan. He's facing the New England Patriots. Third fewest fantasy points at the quarterback position. They have 14 interceptions on the season. That's second most in the league. Matt Ryan coming off one of his worst performances as an NFL pro. Essentially 117 passing yards, 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. They put up a measly 3 points against the Dallas Cowboys. Now they got to be in a short week. They got the New England Patriots coming to town. A good defense. Cordero Patterson, if he's not available, that even hurts even more. And no Calvin Ridley already. So I don't love the matchup. I don't love the outlook. I would sit Matt Ryan this week for sure. Plain and simple. Carson Wentz at the Buffalo Bills. You got to sit him. I mean, you almost can't start anybody against the Buffalo Bills. I wouldn't. Fewest fantasy points at the quarterback position. Just 6 passing touchdowns to quarterbacks on the season. And the fewest passing yards to quarterbacks. Carson Wentz coming off, I would say a bad day, but it's not necessarily bad. They just handled the Jacksonville Jaguars. Pretty safe game plan, ran the football effectively. Carson Wentz did what he had to do to get the victory, so no touchdowns for him. 180 passing yards. No mistakes, but no touchdowns. So I don't love the matchup with the Buffalo Bills. I can't start Carson Wentz. Taylor Heinicke, he's also a sit for me at the Carolina Panthers. Honestly played very well against Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They really put together a 10-minute stretch, 18, 19-play drive to finish the game. Really kept Brady on the sideline and pulled out that victory. Outstanding play. But I don't love the outlook. Carolina Panthers defense has been playing very well as of late. That secondary starting to round into form, especially with the addition of Stephon Gilmore. They have allowed the third fewest fantasy points to the quarterback position. 4 INTs, 4 interceptions in their last 3 games, Carolina Panthers. They've held their last 3 quarterbacks under 10 fantasy points. And Heinicke, the last 5 games, 0 games with multiple touchdowns. So I don't love the outlook of Taylor Heinicke here. I'd be sitting him this week. Now on to some stream options. Guys that I like as potential starts this week. First off, Cam Newton. Had 2 touchdowns in 8 plays that he played? I mean, I don't know his snap count directly, but I'll tell you what, he didn't play that often, and he finished with 2 touchdowns. Now, the team is looking to give him the first team reps this week. Should probably be starting. Obviously, pay attention if he is starting, but if he's out there and he's the starter, he gets to watch the football team. No team has given up more fantasy points to the quarterback position than the Washington football team. And also, they've given up the 7th most rushing yards. I want to say over 200 rushing yards on the ground. 2 quarterbacks, 6 yards per carry on average to the quarterback position, and Cam Newton can run the football a little bit. So I love Cam Newton's outlook this week. Potential top 10 quarterback. Got to get him in your lineups this week. Another guy, Mac Jones, a little bit of a lower end start. He's a good stream option, pretty safe play here. Coming off a game in which he had 198 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, and he's got the Atlanta Falcons, Thursday Night Football. They've given up the 2nd most fantasy points to the quarterback position. Just 3 interceptions on the season for that Atlanta secondary. That's not very good. 2nd fewest in the league. And Mac Jones, just 1 interception in his last 4 games. He's been playing very consistent, and I like his outlook this week. And my last streaming option, Ryan Tannehill. He's got the Houston Texans. Just a good matchup overall. It's crazy to think that we're talking about Ryan Tannehill as a potential streamer when a lot of us had him, including me, inside the top 10 of quarterbacks heading into the season. But the offensive line played poorly. Derrick Henry played so well early on. Julio Jones, A.J. Brown, both not on the same page and out of sync due to injuries early on. And Ryan Tannehill just hasn't played well. But he's got the Houston Texans coming off a game in which he had 2 touchdowns, 1 on the ground, 1 through the air. I like the outlook here. 9th most fantasy points to the quarterback position, Houston's defense. 4 rushing touchdowns to the quarterback position. That's tied for the most in the league. And Ryan Tannehill, what he can do well is run the football and get touchdowns in the red zone. And the running game has been subpar since Derrick Henry's gone down. Obviously, bringing in Foreman, bringing in Adrian Peterson. You got Jeremy McNichols. They've just been mixing and matching, but it hasn't necessarily been greatly effective. So I like Tannehill's outlook this week to see probably a couple touchdowns here. He could get some rushing yards on the ground, and I think they'll be able to handle the Houston Texans no problem. So that's it. That's been my quarterback sit-start streams heading in to week number 11. So if you have any questions, drop in the comment section. I'll be glad to give you my advice on anything sit-start related, ads, drops, trades, whatever you want, drop in the comment section. And while you're there, don't forget to like the video, subscribe, share, thumb, bell, all the good stuff for all your fantasy football information all season long. I do all your sit starts. I'll ask any question you ask, no problem. So for the first 4 downs, it's been B. Scott, and I'm out.